Hey guys, so today was much more of a doing day than a discussing day, so you're going to need to make this video a little bit more interactive for yourself today, and I'll let you know exactly how as we begin to discuss what kind of went on in class today in case you weren't here and need to catch up on getting some actual practice and getting comfortable, emphasize the able and comfortable, with this strategy of skim-skim-read-answer. Now what we started with, and oh, by the way, before you start with what we're doing, in my Mr. Kaz Says box for the day, I have a link to a timer that you can put up in your screen so that you can know how much time has been elapsing, and you can keep really good track and set however many minutes you want it to count down from so that you can use your 4 minutes, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes to skim the text, get the overall sense, the general idea of the main idea, then focus yourself by skimming the questions and the answers for 2 minutes, then going back to the passage with a new directed sense of what the authors want you to learn. Because remember, everything is about connection and communication. So when we're focused on reading, we're looking for the author's purpose and the main idea that they want to come across. Well, in a test situation, the questions determine what the author wants us to get across. So now when we go back and we really read, and I mean for understanding, okay, where we actually go with a focused intention, you are actually able to read that all the way through without flip-flopping back and forth and without hunting and pecking for answers to questions. You're able to actually just read and see where those important pieces are coming through in the text because now you've got a focus for your reading. That's going to take 4 minutes. The last 2 minutes is just taking the time to answer the questions, which now really is just you verifying by going back and forth between the questions and the text. But don't do that yet, and I'll explain what I mean as I walk you through the activities of today. So, the first thing you need to do, go to the bottom of the post, pause me or whatever, but you have to download and print that whole big packet that I handed out today. Now, really, for the people who were actually here today, it wound up being a few separate sheets and a few separate packets. I had to put them all together so that I could hand them to you at once, but they're all in the order that I used them today. So make sure that they get printed out and put in that order if you weren't here today and you want to actually engage in the lesson as part of this today in 10 or less. Okay? So we started with a little scientific experiment that just was aimed at really solidifying for you the fact that this strategy is going to be much more effective than ones that you're used to using. Now, the first thing I had you do was this Hearing Voices packet. Okay, it was actually just a front and back of a page. It's an article about this Ricky Deshawn Collins, who was a character in Danny Phantom, okay, one of the TV shows that's on TV. Well, what I had you guys do, and I'm going to ask you to pause this video so that you can participate, take just the article, and I want you to set the timer for 3 minutes. Don't look at the timer, don't use it to influence your actions, but don't look at the questions, only at the passage, and I want you to make sure you get every single piece of important information. Every single piece of important information. And don't miss a single piece of important information. Highlight it, underline it, whatever. Get every piece of information. Okay? That's what you're going to do. Pause me right now and go do that. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully, when you took the time to do this, you noticed that you were like, how do I even know what's important? I better get everything. I better highlight everything. That's what people in our class did. They highlighted every single word because they were like, I don't want to miss anything important. How do I know what's important? I don't know what's important. I better highlight everything so I don't miss it. Well, a lot of people taking that 3 minutes didn't even get halfway through the article because they were so worried about missing something that they reread the same piece over and over and over again and went back and then kept going down and realized they hadn't highlighted anything in a while and they moved back up and they re-highlighted everything and you freaked out. The class freaked out and you probably did too. Oh my God, I gotta get everything. Go ahead and flip over that sheet to the questions on this article. So the questions on this article, you may notice, go ahead and take a second to look at them. Pause me again. Okay, now we're back. You looked at the questions. Well, guess what? If you looked at them carefully, you notice that really only one question needed the article to actually answer it. The rest of them, you could have actually just used logic, picked them apart, and answered the questions without even having to go through and read the passage. See, sometimes when we don't have any clue whatsoever what we're looking for, we waste a lot of time and freak ourselves out when really we could have been having a directed piece of knowledge as to what we were looking for the whole time. Question 1 says, according to the article, Ricky Collins brings the character Tucker Foley to life. This means that Ricky C makes the character seem real is the only thing that's logical. Draws the character, that doesn't bring it to life. Names the character, that doesn't bring it to life. Decides the future of the character. The things that we consider to be lifelike are real. We say, oh, that's so lifelike. We mean it's so real. So just from logic and vocabulary, question 1 could be answered C right off the bat. You didn't even need to read the article. Question 2, which sentence from the article best supports the fact that Ricky has been involved with acting most of his life? There are only 2 choices there that talk about his actual life. The rest is his career. So we're talking about his life here. There's only 2 choices that we're talking about. One has to do with how old he is. The other has to do with how old he was when he started. C, Ricky has acted since he was 6, both on and off camera, is the only one that makes sense to talk about most of his life since he's 20 now, which we got from question number A. Question number A. Wow. Choice letter A. Hello. Question 3 is the one that really, if you look at it, you did need the article to answer it. But really, what you needed was the main idea. It says, information in this article would be most valuable to readers who? Well, think about it. If we're talking about readers and it being valuable to readers, that was probably the author's intended audience, meaning it was the author's purpose to communicate something specific to those readers, which means we're really asking about main idea. Well, if you take a look at these, most of the main idea of the article was about how he took these skills and how maybe he didn't look the right way for a certain part, or maybe he wasn't the right age, maybe he wasn't, but his voice could be utilized and developed into these characters because it was just his voice that was coming through, not his actual physical being. So the answer there is D, want to build a career around their voices. That's what the article mainly talked about. 4, which sentence from the article best supports the idea that being a voiceover actor requires skill? Well, Ricky is a voiceover actor, someone here we don't see. That's just what he is. They are the voices of cartoon characters on television, in movies, and video games for interactive toys. Again, that's just what they do. It has nothing to do with skill, it's just what they are. She writes helpful notes on the script to guide Ricky on speaking his part. Well, that was talking about the director, and really that's just direction. That's not skill, that's somebody telling you certain things. But if you take a look at C, it says, like other actors, voiceover actors need to understand scripts, interpret characters, and breathe correctly. Those are skills. Understand, interpret correctly. We use these words as buzzwords where we didn't even really need to go back to the article at all to realize that the answer number 4 was C. So hopefully this scientific process in this experiment showed you that if you have no focus and you have no plan for your reading, you can ultimately wind up being frustrated, nervous, wasting time, and getting the wrong answer anyway. Enter our Skim-Skim-Read-Answer strategy. Take a look at the Lawrence Yep passage. I'm going to direct you